So, so basically, these are the topics that we will need to write, and you have already written some of these things. That's why actually there is a column here, and it is called existing post. In other words, if you think that these topics like VPN types and etc., I know that they already exist because I checked them. So it means that actually you will be able to just mark here with this checkbox. If you want, you can also put the existing URLs, existing contents URLs here too. The purpose here is that actually focusing on the non-existing topics or the topics that we didn't write before. But sometimes the content managers or the SEO managers of the companies that I work together, sometimes they want to refresh the existing content. Sometimes they want to focus on the non-existing content. And that's why this column exists here, so that we can actually make a kind of differentiation between them. And if you believe that some of these topics are helpful for actually our website, and if we didn't write them just now, we can try to prioritize these things. So I will need to explain a little the colors in this area. If you see the color orange, it means that that specific content brief is already actually ready to be written. And in other words, whenever we want, we can start writing these topics or these ones or some other ones. And while writing them, let's say you start to write these things. I am recording these things, don't worry, you will be able to watch them. And in some other recordings, they also exist. We basically just change the color. For example, if you make it yellow, it means that actually someone is writing it. If you have finished writing it, it will be blue. If we have published these things, it will be green. And once we have the greens, it means that actually we have just refreshed that specific document or that specific content. Another thing here is that every tab that you just see here, these are the document designs that have been created with every heading or heading order or heading levels, and also the article methodologies. The methodology section actually explains what we should write and how we should write it. When you check the anchor text section, the anchor text section actually explains where we will be linking to. For example, how to report a hailing attack here. It is an anchor text or internal link text that we will need to use under this paragraph, under this heading that just there. So since you already do these things for many years, and since NordVPN is already a successful company with many content marketing strategies or content marketing campaigns, I believe things here won't be that hard for you to implement, but at the beginning they might be just a little hard. I will open one more folder here, and it will be called as the articles. And in the articles one, usually I use 3 different subfolders, and these things already, again, will be explained in the training videos too. And let's say you want to write something. Basically, we open just a folder here or a file here. And let's say you will write this one. This is the H1 that we will already need to using, and it will be the title here. And here in the methodology section, we explain what we should write there. There are some other rules or code language here that you will need to use. For example, list definition and listing. It means that actually we will need to use a specific type of, let me just write it here like this, a simple sentence. When you say what are the benefits of VPN, let's say the benefits of VPN are listed below. Basically, this is a list definition. And let's say here we will need to talk about, let's say, secure internet. This is one of the benefits. And this is the list element, which you call as listing. So this is just a code language that we will need to use these things while writing. And I wish actually Povilas could be here too, because actually we have planned some of these things together with him. But I believe it will be easier for you too. So besides that, I will be sharing this document with you too. Since this is our first meeting, I don't want to confuse you that much. And in these things, actually, we try to explain how we should write or what kinds of sentence structures actually should change in what way. For example, let's say one of your sentences has a kind of if statement. Instead of saying if A becomes B, do X. Actually, we should take the do X section to the beginning area, and then we should actually say if A becomes B. So let me explain some of the theories behind that. For example, this is one of the, again, the Google patents. And this is actually a new one, like 2 months ago, maybe, or maybe 3 months ago, it has been granted. And the section here, let me just show you one example, if I may. For example, if I ask you a question like, how old is Woody Allen? So this is just a question about an entity. Woody Allen here is the entity. And the old section here, it is signaling one of the attributes, which is the age. So basically, this is an entity seeking query plus also an answer seeking query as well. So when you ask such a question, the search engine actually will need to find some templates, some certain types of sentence structures. One of the structures here say that entity here represents the Woody Allen, entity was born on date, and is currently value years old. So this is one of the sentence structures here. And there is one more. Entity was born on that specific date and died on this date. So if someone asks for how old is Woody Allen, which sentence structure do you think is better? This one, for example, we give a birth date and we give the current age, or we give a current birth date and also we give the date of the death situation. So which one do you think that would be a better answer? Any guess?
I think he's still alive, so I guess the first one.
Okay, so if the specific entity,
1 hour.
okay, if the specific entity is actually alive, you are right. We will need to use the first one. If the specific entity is already dead, we will need to use the second one. But still, this is just one patent example from thousands of one, and I can tell that I have read probably thousands, and always they use multiple algorithms for solving the same problem. So whenever you see something like templates like this, it means that they are trying to decrease the cost of understanding the web, because they try to compress entire web under certain principles. So it means that actually when we ask a question like what are the benefits, so I will try to change it. I will go to the Google to be able to demonstrate some samples. So I won't even actually click some of these things, but if you want, I can choose one of them. Which one do you think I should choose? Choose one for me.
A sauna.
Sound, this one, okay. So when I choose some of these things, actually there is an order here too. So basically, this is a list definition, and this is what we call as the listicle. And there is one issue here too, by the way. So most of the time, the listicle here, it starts with a certain type of word. Do you see the order here? It is always a, until here, it is always actually a verb. So basically, it is always a verb that actually signals the benefit of something, like helps, boosts, improves, clears, helps, eases. And so in this case, until now, actually, it means we always use a certain types of verb. If you check actually my guideline that I will give you too, you will see the same thing here. Use the same phrase patterns in the list elements. For example, start with a verb. Let's say you have started by using a verb in one of your listicles. Let's say ensures, clears, spends, absorbs. And let's say you started by using a noun like vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D. And let's say you use a certain suffix by saying ensuring, clearing, absorbing, and spending. So in this case, when we check these things together, and that's why actually I wanted to have more meetings together with you, because I will need to find a way to implement these things together. And when I give these documents to you, please try to examine all these things, because from using abbreviation of a concept or to repeating some certain types of attributes, there are concrete sentence examples here or sentence structures. And this is just one of them. Let's remove the sauna. Choose another one. Could you choose another one for me?
Magnesium.
Magnesium, okay. So again, we have actually two different lists, and this is probably the heading just before that specific section. Let me just go and check. Yes, because this is a heading list. Since it is a heading list, they actually take the title or the H1, and these are the H2s. And when I come here too, there are some certain types of actually phrase patterns here too. Most of the time, this person actually start by saying may. But most of the time, of course, after the may, we always have actually a verb. Again, it goes like that: support, combat, boost, or promote, or help, or improve. And when I look at this one too, now it changes. Now we have a noun: bone health, diabetes, cardiovascular health, migraine headaches, and these two. So most of the time you will see that certain listicles that are chosen by the search engine, they actually use certain types of roles or word roles or word types. So which one do you think that is actually better? Saying directly bone health or diabetes, or actually using some certain types of verbs?
I'd probably go with verbs because the query itself is asking for an action.
Yes.
Like, what is the benefit? The benefit is this.
Yes, benefit is actually not a noun. It is actually a kind of process that we improve something or that we actually make something better. So in this case, it is true that you will need to start by using a certain types of verb. And you can take these verbs directly from your competitor, by the way. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. When it comes to VPN, let's say this time the VPN, benefits of using VPN or just the VPN. Again, we see the actually highly similar situation like secure, hide, prevent, avoid, get, reduce. This is a little different, just as, let's say, as a exception in this case. And let's say we have asked the same question, which is just here too. What are the benefits of VPN? And here we have given an example too. So in this case, we will actually need to use certain types of verbs to start these things. And after the verbs, we will need to actually use certain types of nouns like network, like information or private information or data or other things. From search engine's point of view, if I may show you one example, let me just try. Let's try the C. Let me just show here. So semantic closeness is actually a ranking signal, and let me just give you one example. So I will put two different dots here. There is one dot here or a shape. There is one more here, and here I will tell. Let's say this is VPN, and let's say this is streaming. So if I tell you to give me the semantic distance between these two concepts, what will be the number that you would use for me? From between 1 and 10. Which number would explain the distance between these two more? Any guess?
Is 1 more or 10 more?
10 is more.
I'd say maybe a 7.
7, okay. So I will write one more concept here now, and let's say there is one more dot in our knowledge graph, let's say, or maybe open web. And this topic, let's say it is about, let me just check, gaming. Let's say it should be gaming. And now, can you understand the distance between these two? Can you give a distance?
Maybe 6.
6, okay. So basically for you, gaming is closer to the VPN than streaming, right?
I would say streaming is a bit closer because streaming can be anything, including gaming and sports, for example. While gaming is the smaller topic,
Nice.
which would be like an individual topic, and I would put it like maybe a step further than gaming, than streaming.
So I will ask, okay, I will go to the Google to make a kind of check, because according to the Google's perception, for example, if I go to here, let me just perform maybe a kinds of showcase, but these don't work there, TensorFlow. So actually these strings, they should be longer and they should be a little different, but I will go on it quicker. So this is called word to vec, or words, from words to vectors. When we say a vector, it is actually any kinds of number. So you see these dots or these shapes here. These shapes are the shapes like here. So when you should see this shape, it might be VPN. When you see this shape, it might be something else, gaming, streaming, etc. The good thing in this word-to-vec model, when I choose one of these things, let's go deep a little, and I choose this word. When I choose this word, this system actually chooses other words that are highly closely related or semantically related to this one. To be able to understand which word is related to the which word, the search engines or the machines, they check the co-occurrence of the words. And when I click to ahead, for example, when I click to the ahead, I see that actually the word cancelled, beating, finished, missed, and finish also, scored, consecutive, and these type of words also lighted. When I click to the paste, now actually some other words are being actually lighted. And from when I come to the here, to the health, some others also are being lighted. So in this case, whenever I click one of the words here, the system actually chooses the words that occurs together and highly relevant. So I will come here, I will write VPN, then I will write here streaming, and then I will actually check how many different documents actually mention these two together. So according to this number here, it is 44 million. Now I will make it gaming. And they didn't give a number directly. Let me just check again. Okay, it is a little rare situation to have these things here, these ones. So I will try to use guess mode. Okay, it is around 30 million or 31 million this time. So in this case, we can tell that actually for streaming for streaming, we actually have more documents. So it means that streaming and VPN, they occur more together on the web. And in this case, their semantic distance from search engine point of view, actually it should be a little lesser. So I will show you a design just now. Let me just go here. So there is a kind of listicle here, as you see. Let's say Saturn facts that we are talking about. And this is also a patent again from the Google. And here we have one orbit of sun is around this. Then we have rotation period is this. Mass is this, volume is this, distance is this. So when you actually take some of the certain words from a listicle or from an HTML list like this, these words together, they will actually create a kind of harmony. And they will actually start to consolidate the context. For example, I will come back here and then I will write something else. And I will tell that remove the Fortinet.com from the results. And then we will have another one. And for this one, we have different words like jail-log content or safety through anonymity or something else. And these are from cdw.com. I will remove that too. Then let's check another one here. We have two different ones. One is AVG, the other one is Norton. And again, they're actually closely related. Again, it says hides, escapes, avoid, access, etc. This one also uses the nouns a little. Maybe sorry, this is also this is also using verbs. I will remove these two too. Let me just do it. Let's remove the Norton.com and let's remove this one too, avg.com. So since okay, I have actually removed this one. Maybe I couldn't. You should go. Okay, it is a little interesting situation. Interesting. Let me just do it like this. Maybe. Okay, it doesn't go. So it is a little rare situation. Sorry for this error here.
Maybe it's because of the space that you left.
Ah, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So once we remove it, we have again some other candidates here too. So from search engine's point of view, whenever I remove one of the sources from this area with different orders, they actually have some other answers or other answer formats here. And in every answer, let's say there is a technology and we are taking every answer from the search engine like this, and then we try to understand which words appear more than others. So while writing our articles, actually, we will need to give the richest list and we will need to use the most related words to each other, closer to each other, and we will need to create a richer co-occurrence matrix. For example, here it says save money online, and it might not exist for Fortinet, or it might not exist for this one. If you say browse, the word browse, or the browser, these words might be actually prominent for the topic semantic, the topic VPN, and semantically we might have to use these type of things there. And in our lectures, we will try to actually make these things better while writing these things together. Because even if your documents already exist, it doesn't mean that actually we can't make every listicle better or we can't make every beginning section better. And you will start to realize that actually existing query count or impressions or the rankings, once you start to put these more related terms or these more related arguments into your document, they will start to rank also higher as well. And this projector here, it is just a representation of that. For example, if I click to the word increase, you will actually see the word factors here directly. So if I go to the Google, for example, if I search for the increase directly, and then let me maybe search for the factor too, at some point, at somewhere, we actually see the word factor together with that. If I search for the develop, let's say, this time, and let me search for the factor, this time it doesn't appear, let's say. And if I come back and if I choose a different word there, it might not appear. For example, if I search for how to increase, most of the time here you will actually see something related to the health, like dopamine, testosterone, like blood pressure, like HDL, sperm count, or serotonin, or milk supply, or other things here. Because the word increase, it is highly relevant to the health actually. And if you check this area too, you will see some other words that are related to the actually, again, to the health, like maybe level. When you look at to the word level, it might be related to the gaming, but when you unite it with the increase, it might be related to the health more. And this is actually called themes of the words. And if I make this increase to develop, now every noun here actually changed, like film at home, disposable cameras, film, understanding a program. I will show you one more thing here, which is called XBERT. So you already know the BERT, I believe. BERT is a language algorithm of Google. And basically Google tries to understand what you tell or what is with what probability what you will tell. They try to understand these things. So I will just take this sentence here. Okay, let me just take maybe another one. I will take this sentence here. I will put it here. Then I will tell the update. So you see these roads here in this area, right? There are some colors here, and there are some other lines between these words. Do you know what they represent?
How
Yes.
often the word follow?
Yes.
Which
How
word
often?
follow the most often, I guess.
Yes. How often a specific word actually has been followed with that specific word? And when you look at the Google, they actually don't understand what you tell. They just try to guess correctly which word can follow the which word in your documents, and based on that they try to actually find the best possible answer. If I may show you one more thing, for example, evidence aggregation, let's say, if I'm able to open one of these things, maybe I can find. So there are two questions here, or let's ask this question. Which physicist, mathematician, and astronomer discovered the first 4 moons of Jupiter? And we have two different candidates here. One is Isaac Newton, the other one is Galileo Galilei. So in this case, both of them actually might be an inventor there, because both of them are a physicist, a mathematician, and astronomer at the same time. And when you are a search engine, it's not that easy to find the correct answer. Because when you are the search engine, with a single letter or with a single comma, you might end by actually giving the wrong information. But from search engine's point of view, they will try to actually find the proper question format. What I mean there. So here actually we see some words in the question, physicist, mathematician, astronomer, and these are qualifiers for the entity. And then we see the word, the four moons of Jupiter, and the word discovered. So let's check the first answer. It says Sir Isaac Newton was an English physicist, mathematician, astronomer, and natural philosopher, alchemist, and theologian. And Isaac Newton was an English mathematician, etc., who is widely recognized as one of the most influential scientists. So the search engines, to be able to find a proper answer, they actually take the possible words or the possible candidate words that can appear in the answer, and they try to check which ones actually appear in yours. And when it comes to this answer here too, they understand that Galileo Galilei is the right answer directly because actually the word discovering here too, it appears together. So when I look at the things like this, a search engine in the old times, for example, just because the word physicist, mathematician, and astronomer is matching in the answer, they might actually give the wrong answer. But today, they understand which word actually is heavier in the question. And they check the specific word also in the answers itself. And if it is matching with the correct format, then they assume that it is one of the answers there too. But still, it doesn't answer a couple of more things here. For example, why do you think that the CDW.com was at the first order? And why do you think that actually VPN overview comes after these ones?
Maybe the way that the headings are structured manipulates the query a bit. The action of the main keyword is shifted from noun to verb and vice versa.
It might be true. I actually had many different collabs in the past. Maybe I can find and show you an example here too. Let me just try to download it. Maybe I can find. So I will need to actually run these things again and later, but if I would run everything here, you will see that actually based on a single word, based on a single sentence or single punctuation, all of the scores will start to change. Sometimes it is about relevance, but sometimes it is actually about the question format. For example, even if you here, for example, you see the word are, and are also appears here too. And since you are matching the plurality, again, it might be one of the advantages there as well. They will need to calculate all these things and distance between all these specific words, and they will try to choose actually the richest one. So in your case, you are right, but there is one more thing. It's not just about answering this one. It is actually about answering all of these questions and all of other questions for all of the other related topics. If you are able to answer all these things with a better way than your competitors, the search engine will start to assume that, okay, actually I have a source and it always gives better accuracy, higher accuracy, and richer information. And then they will start to prioritize you directly on the SERP. And if I show you one more research, for example, corroboration of answers from multiple websites or web sources. So I will show you a screenshot here, if I can open it properly. Maybe I can view the paper. I have actually downloaded it, but corroboration. Anyway, so this is a research paper actually from Googlers, and also other Googlers. They make really good amount of citations to this one. So from Google, we have a query. The query says Honda Civic 2007 gas mileage. The problem here is every website gives a different information. For example, this one says 51 mpg, this one says 33. The problem is these two sites or these two web pages, they actually belong to the same website. So even the same website gives two contradicting information. And here the search engine or this research, they try to understand how they can aggregate the information and how they can filter the wrong one. So if I go here, for example, and if I tell that the benefit of having a VPN or using a VPN XYZ, they will need to understand whether the information is actually correct or not just relevant, but also accurate. And to be able to do that, they will need to use some authoritative sources. And this research here, actually, they try to explain how they can actually find that specific authoritative source and how they can actually eliminate the others. And you don't need to know the math here basically, but these are some of the scores. For example, if you say 51, if the first result says 51, they assume that it is the most accurate one. And then they actually try to give some other scores to some other numeric values according to the sources itself. And when it comes to the VPN too, there are some highly authoritative sources that the search engine directly use. If I search for again, what are the benefits of VPN, let's say, directly, and when I search for these things, most of the time you will actually see these three dots. And here they will actually give you a section more about this page. When I say the more about this page, they will actually collect all of the signals about you to understand whether it is possible that actually you are giving the wrong information or the correct information. And this is one of the organizations that Google performs. They take everything about the source, then they take everything about the topic, and then they aggregate these things together. So when you look into this area, at the beginning, I can tell you that writing won't be that much easy because we will need to use lots of numeric values. But our purpose while writing these things is actually always creating a higher score in terms of accuracy, relevance, or also the content format. Because as I show in this example, in terms of the templates, there are many other templates that we can use. Why do you think that certain questions always trigger a feature snippet while others don't? Or why do you think that certain questions actually bring certain type of answers? Why always a listicle, for example? Why not a table? Or for some certain other questions, we will actually have a listicle or maybe just a paragraph. For example, if you ask a question here, let's say, what is the, not the benefit maybe, but significance of, let's say, American Civil War? So this time actually we have a paragraph. And if I remove this source, let's remove the battlefields.org. Again, a kind of paragraph. If I remove the history.com, sometimes maybe it might be plural, but no, it's a paragraph. So it's not a coincidence actually. And if I check all these answers, you will see a similar situation as you see here too. There will be dates. For example, when I use these dates here, always there is this date, there is this date, there is this one, and all of these pages, they mention certain types of entities, and search engine is aware of that, and they just filter these things. So I will show you one more thing, then I will answer your questions because this is the first day, and I don't want to confuse you that much. I will take this sentence, and I will put it here. So when we say actually a part of speech info, basically this website, when you put any kind of sentence here, the search engine too, they are able to understand actually the type of the word. For example, this is a verb, and this, let's say this is an adjective, and let's say this is a number, let's say this is a noun, this is a noun, this is a noun too. And the search engine, if they're able to understand which word has been used in what row, they can seek the same thing also in the answer. If I search for example, what is the best? The word best is a superlative. It means that actually my answer will be a comparative answer. In other words, we will need to compare these things. Not best water thing, but maybe what is the best, or maybe lose weight, or how to lose weight, or other things. So when you actually use the word best, it is the key there. It is a superlative, and in your answer too, you will need to use the same or highly similar word at earliest point, so that actually you can be filtered out as a candidate. So there are other things that I can show. I might not shut up that much. I just wanted to perform a kind of introduction today to the perception of the search engine a little, and you will need to watch some of these videos to this recording area in the lecture area, because these are practical lectures. In other words, I also write, I also type, and I also explain why I type in that way, which word is better than other, or which paragraph is correct, which paragraph is not. There are samples here, as you can see, or as you can check. So with that said, I will be happy to hear some questions from you.
I have a question, although the scope of it could be a bit big, so if you have plans to cover this in the future meetings we have, please just. But basically, you show the semantic relation to different headings, how questions can provide value, not just in the term of this topic right now, but long-term value to make your brand more reputable to Google, to be like, oh, these are the guys you want to go for VPN queries, for example.
Yes.
So the question here is, in these situations, what would be the better approach? Keep writing new articles about these smaller topics and then interlink them, or try to fit them as H2s and make a more comprehensive, larger guide? Because on one hand, you have the potential to cannibalize a lot of your content, but the other, you give the more complete product. So as a person, like if I'm, for example, a customer, I would feel like maybe I want the complete product here. But maybe, just the whole interlinking article to article to article could be the better approach here. So what in your experience here?
Okay, in my experience, actually, that's why we are creating these content briefs, to prevent the cannibalization and also to cover everything in the best possible way. If I open another paint here, your question is a little about relevance radius. So let's say this is a web page that we have created together, and let's say this is the radius of this web page. In other words, the amount of queries that we can rank with this specific web page. And there are 3 different scores that mainly we will use. One of them is actually query responsiveness. The other one is information retrieval score. The other one is page rank. So let's say the page rank here is 5. If I make the page rank here 6, it means that we will be able to rank for a bigger radius right now. And if from 5 to 6, if you see that there is a bigger radius, this section here, it will represent the queries that we will rank newly or with the new ones. But in our situation, we won't use the links that much, because NordVPN is already a strong company, a strong brand, and your competitors are also strong too. So the page rank here is not the question. You can always have more links, but as long as you are not responsive to the query, as long as you are not relevant that much, you won't be able to expand your relevance radius that much. And with that said, let's say these are the queries that we will be able to rank with this page rank, with this information retrieval score and query responsiveness. And in our situation, we assume that there is another query network here. And for this query network, we can't use this web page, because we can see that the entities in this radius and entities in this radius, they are not that close to each other, as I show in this one. For example, from VPN to streaming, the context might change a lot, the distance might be high. And in this case, we will need to create a second web page here, and we will need to also create a bridge between them. I can show you a design from directly to Google to explain this situation a little better. For example, this is my SlideShare account, and here I explain semantic search engine and query parsing. And in these ones, there is a design that actually you would like to. It is from David C. Tyler. If I can open. There. For example, here, as you see, there are different types of domains, like domain 2, domain 3, domain 10, domain 9. These domains are the contextual domains from the Google's point of view. And basically here, if I come here like this, if you check these domains, you will see different queries, different contexts, and different entities. And all these things actually make that specific domain to relevant to a different subtopic. And in this case, while we are creating these things, we actually will stay on the same topic, but every topic will be connected to another one, and every topic will have some other subtopics. And we will need to cover all these things with the best possible angle. Sometimes, let's say we want to rank for EOS and VPNs related queries. The best way for that actually is creating a listicle. But sometimes, let's say we want to rank for a hailing attack to touch the security side of the VPNs, let's say, and we will need to process that. And let's say hailing attack is a kind of web security concept. We will need to process other related or relevant ones, like let's say phishing in this case, and we will need to link it to. And we will follow all these things, and then all these things will start to consolidate overall website relevance to an overall topic, and then we will be a prioritized source. Already, actually, NordVPN is one of the prioritized sources, but to be able to dominate or beat the other strong competitors, we will need to go beyond, and we will need to cover every teeny tiny thing.
Thank you for your answer. I will have a lot to look at after this.
Okay. So the others, you also listened to me, I believe. Sometimes it might be boring, sorry for that. But I guess you can also answer or ask some of the questions to me. Do you wonder things here?
One more. Let's say, website becomes go to search for Google for some kind of topic cluster like VPN. Let's say we become that. But do you think that's enough to beat authoritative sites like the ones we saw in the SERP, like avg.com, Forbes.com, and similar ones?
Okay. So in this case, since you already have the PageRank historical data and reputation, the next step will be just actually closing the gap. And when I come to the VPN here, I will ask you to tell me a word that is not related to VPN at all. Choose a distant word.
Very distant.
Which one?
I mean, should we choose not related at all?
Not related at all, yeah.
Okay, water.
Water, okay. So when I search for the VPN and the water at the same time, besides the ads, still we have seen some related things like water VPN might be an app or might be a kind of related things. And this is a different thing. Rather than VPN, it might be a kind of brand. And we have some other things here. Water utility controls remotely with VPN. So we have, again, a contextual domain here too. So in this case, our purpose here is actually whatever we write here after VPN, maybe water, maybe Ronaldo, maybe something else, it's up to you, any irrelevant thing, still there will be a context that we can create for relevance. And the purpose here is actually being existing for all of these possible combinations with the best possible quality. And once you are in the indexes of the search engine for a concept and all of the possible combinations of that concept, it means that the search engine doesn't have a chance besides ranking you. We can try, by the way, rather than water, you can write, I don't know, soup, maybe. Still, it will be actually relevant. At some way, the search engine knows way much more things than actually we know. And the word soup, eventually it will exist somewhere, maybe from a form, maybe from somewhere else, like an alphabet soup for securing remote workers. So they just change the context of the word. I will try to show you one more thing before maybe closing. So you see all these auto suggestions, right? Like extension, gate, app, or Netflix, or download, etc. So you will need to think about the semantic distance too. For example, if someone searches for VPN, these are the things that actually the search engine suggests them. The main problem here is that if their suggestion or auto-suggestion here, if it is highly close or highly relevant to my own query, it means that actually there is no need for clicking, because most probably I will see the same result. It means that they can't give you highly similar query suggestions. If the query suggestion is too similar to the existing query, the results won't change. So it means that I will see the same thing. If it is too different, it means that it is too distant. So it's not relevant. So when you see auto suggestions here, it means that actually it is distant, but not that much. It is on the sweet spot for helping us to click and make another search and also to see the different results. So that's why you can use auto suggestions and these the bottom related terms, like it is a kind of it's a kind of possible sweet spot for the semantic distance. But of course the search engine gives only 8, 7 or 6 for these things, and we will need very much more with more details. So any other question? I don't know how to pronounce your beautiful names that much. Sorry for that. That's why I'm not able to call you with your name. But if you have questions, I will be happy to answer them. Malcolm, your name is easy. Laura. And I don't know how to tell Vijas. I don't know whether it is true or not. Or Ugne. And we also have Agne, I guess. 2 similar names semantically.
Yes, correct.
For that. Any question for me? Sorry for bothering everyone here, but we will need to do these things together, so I will need to explain them further. And it's okay if you don't have any further questions, but you will need to watch these videos, please. I believe I have already shared these videos with you. And then we will need to write these things together as much as possible. There is already many different briefs here, and it will continue like that. There are also some red ones and other ones. And until for now, it is around 2019. And once we write way much more things about VPNs or some other things, it will be better. And at the same time, Edvinas, you might like to remove some of the next ones, because there are some comparative articles here, like best VPNs. I know that the brand is against that, against mentioning these best related things. But for other ones, we can, I believe, process them, the informational things at least. Or like these ones. Okay. So since you don't have any further questions, tomorrow probably I will try to explain you these things here a little further, and then we will need to perform some tryings or experiments together for writing, and then you can give me some feedbacks about how can I make these things easier for you to maybe understand, maybe to implement, and we can continue like that. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay then, thank you for your time and see you later.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.